All right, I will, I guess, go ahead and start just to respect everybody's time and respect the camera's time as well. My name is Tawfiq Haddadi. I go by TK for short. And today we're going to talk about the vertical conveyance solutions within the warehousing and supply chain industry. So last week I was at the Mahida conference, and just like this morning, they went over some of the trends that we've seen in the industry right now that are, that can impact our industry. The first thing, as everybody knows, like labor shortage. So everybody's trying to fight for labor out there and fight quality labor. And they say like by 2030, it will be at a gap of 18 million few workers in the U.S. just because of age and people basically like not producing more. E-commerce is definitely like the hottest retail segment that's growing right now, where B2C, which is business to direct consumer, kind of like the online, is acquired for like half of the volume since 2014. And then deliveries now, like everybody wanted it now. They wanted like or yesterday. This week also I was in Orlando at an Amazon site, and they have what they call like a same day delivery, and it's like right there, like in the iDrive in the middle of downtown. So the warehouses are getting smaller, but also like the speed of delivery, it's very impactful or very critical. And last but not least, the real estate for the warehousing segment is at a premium demand right now. So this past year, about like 540 million square feet of warehousing have been acquired. And then they're looking right now under construction, about 636 million square feet under construction for this year and next year. What that means to us is like we're in the right place, at the right time. I mean, we're going to see at least this demand grow over the next few years. But the question is, how can we maximize our floor space? A lot of people just focus on the floor level, but what we're here to tell you is that you can take advantage also of the space that you have within your existing warehouse and your new warehouse. So efficiency is the name of the game. A lot of companies are now going from just-in-time model to just-in-case. So they acquire more that they need, and this is just because of what the supply chain right now is going through. So when it comes to vertical conveyance, there are like several ways to go about it. There are like incline belts, there are lifts, but today I'm a little bit biased, so I'm going to be talking about the spirals because that's the product that we carry and I have like the knowledge about. So the main reason for vertical conveyance is mainly, like I said, is to save space. Here you can see a line and an incline belts, and it's taking up a lot of space. So you have a lot of waste within your warehouse. How can you address that? Is by having spirals. So it takes fraction of the space, doing the same job, and also like helping you like have more floor space for your non-conveyable or bulk product. Right now we're in the middle of switching over probably like 7 lines for one of our clients, and mainly because they have like small distance to incline, that creates problems with tipping of products, so basically tumbling backward, as well as they need like the floor space for their non-conveyable product. This is a good picture of a project that we've done a few years ago, where they already have like an incline belt. It's for a distributor of wine and alcohol beverages, and because of the volume like growing, they needed to have like another solution. So we provided a spiral that can do the same exact function, same exact performance speed wise, with the fraction of the space, like I said. So this is just like a good example and a good picture that we're trying to use as much as we can. The second reason for spirals is for the throughput. So we know like throughput is important these days. As I mentioned before, if we were talking like 10 years plus, probably like throughput was not that critical. But because of like the sub same day or same day deliveries, today everybody wants it and wants it now. Our spirals can run up to 200 feet per minute. So that basically it's not going to be like a bottleneck when it comes to your conveyance, and as well as it doesn't have a cycle time. So it's a continuous flow versus using a lift. The third reason is a simple solution. So all of our spirals as of today, they go with the one motor, one drive, and basically like you need to control with one VFD. Very minimum when it comes to like the safeties. We have a couple sensors. So when it comes to using like an Alpine or like a belted conveyor, it's like a maintenance hassle, and it's more integration involved. So when we look at the picture, we look at the total cost of ownership versus just the initial installation and integration of the project. The other thing is it's simple controls. Like I said, it has like one motor and then a couple safety sensors, and the job is done. And the other good thing is you don't have to adjust it to every package. All we need is the maximum and the minimum, and anything in between can be conveyed. This is another good example of an application we just did like last year, where we had a belted conveyor, like a Portex style, and then a transnorm, and they took that and then they replaced them with spirals. And then mainly because, like I said, it's maintenance free, it's integration free, and then the spiral is properly maintained, it can last forever. So as far as the nightmares when it comes to the maintenance aspect of it, that's something you don't have to worry about. So here at Ryson, as you guys can see, we're specialized in vertical conveyance. We've been in business for 25 years, or going 26 right now, going on 27. And our bread and butter, well, actually, we're proud to say we're a US-based company. Our manufacturing is in Yorktown, Virginia. So when it comes to supply chain challenges, we've seen very little of that over the past few years because we cater everything in-house, and we ship basically everything from our facility in Yorktown. Over the past 26 years, we built our strength in the beverage and manufacturing world, and that's where uptime is important. You have to be critical as far as the product that you're conveying, and we took all that knowledge and then we applied it right now in the warehousing side, where we see that criticality being important when it comes to the e-commerce world and the retail industry. We focus on quality, on service, and as well as total cost of ownership. So our model is we want to be installation friendly, maintenance friendly. If you remember anything about our spirals, just remember we have a superior design mainly around the modularity of the units. That's what helps build them in a record time, as well as being able to be modified on site when it's needed. We cater like a lot of models, a lot of wide range of units that we have out there for our clients. But today, just because of the World Conference, I'm focusing on 3 different models. Number one is our high capacity, where we go 20 feet plus. And again, keep in mind this all with one motor and then basically the couple sensors that I mentioned. So right now, our record, we shipped one last week. It was a 40 feet elevation change, and it was a 13 watts our wide track spiral. The difference between our spirals and the rest of what's out there is we have what we call a rolling friction. So you guys can see there that make sure it's like the noise is like at the lowest under 75 dBs. Weight-wise, we can start and stop fully loaded, and with the maximum capacity of 3,600 pounds. That's why we come like very efficient when it comes to working with the fasteners of the world or the coilings of the world, where we have like the heavy-duty products. This is the wide track that I just mentioned. So over the past few years, we went to the next level so we can absorb more like of the market out there. So we have our 30-inch and the 36-inch slats. The cool thing about this one, we had a video where we tell people like, yeah, we can convey a 50-inch TV on our spiral, and it's true. And this is like a good test that we've done that, so like a 50-inch TV. The other thing is, as far as the pitch between turns, it can be up to 6 feet. So when you have like a tall product, we can convey it at no problem. And then when you combine the two, we were able to induct from multiple levels. So we have our multi-unit or one entry, multi-exits, or multi-entries and one exit spiral. So we can do that, and that comes really handy in the e-commerce world, where you have pick models. So you can also take advantage of that versus multiple inclines or multiple spirals across the system. You can just have one that can feed all your level, and because of that, you can actually take advantage of more of your space, where you can go up to 40, 50 feet and elevation changes. This is a good example of how it's operating. What you guys see there is our first generation belted induction, and from there we kind of grew, so we can have like an MDR-based induction for the in-feed as well as the out-feed. For the outfeed side, for the exits, we use an arm, and this is mainly to protect the integrity of the product. Right now it has like a cycle time of like 3 seconds in and out, but we're working right now on an R&D projects where we're going from like a routing to potentially like a sortation aspect of conveying products. This is also like a good example that we use. So to maximize your throughput, your goal is to build like a slug of a train and then basically just release everything when it's full. That will basically be the best option to achieve the rates that you're looking at or looking for. Last year, we've been acquired by our sister company that we've been doing business with for the past 20, or since we started here in the US. It's called Roll Apollo, based out of Holland. So what that gives us is a more like a global reach, and also ability to do more, focus more on R&D projects and see what's out there. We have sales offices and also manufacturing in Asia. So we have China as well as Thailand. We have a manufacturing plant. Also in Holland, we cater for like the entire European market. And because of that, we are able also to get to Africa, Australia, Japan, and then here in the US, we cater also for like the Central and South American market. And here you can see like just a snippet of our valued customers that we've been acquiring over the past 26 years. And it's growing. I mean, we've seen a lot of demand when it comes to like the e-commerce or the e-tail industry. And this is just the beginning. We would love to have you, I don't know which industry you guys are part of, but if you're not here, let's make sure you guys are here at some point. So with that being said, again, like I said, my name is Tawfiq. I go by TK for short. And if you have any questions, this is my contact information. I'm Ryson's National Warehousing Account Manager. So you're probably going to see me in most of the trade shows or conferences out there. I would like for you guys to look at me as an extension of your team. I've been in the industry for the past 13 years as an integrator, started off as an engineer, then project management, and then from there I moved to integration, and now I'm in sales. So please consider me or consider us like an extension of your team rather than just a vendor. I mean, we value our clients, and we look at them as clients, not customers, because we would like to have a repeat business. So with that being said, if you have any questions, I don't know, so time-wise, we still have about 15 minutes. Sure.
So 2 questions. The first one is, obviously, I'm assuming that you guys do the full conveying solution, correct? Aside from just the vertical?
No, we specialize in the spirals. So like we work, so we market to end users, but we work through integrators. So we just bring a piece of the puzzle or the subsystem of the spiral.
Do you have other partners that you could recommend for doing that?
Sure. I mean, depends on your area where you're located. We will, basically refer you to our integrator partners. I mean, Ramona is one of them. She's with the Conveying Solutions. They're one of our good clients. I mean, they're all over the map. I believe all over the U.S., but they're headquartered in Illinois, and you come from Kansas City. Yeah, yeah. So I have over 100+ accounts. So it depends where you are. We will make the right recommendation.
Then the second question is, our warehouse situated in Puerto Rico, we purchased and owned 500,000 square feet that used to be from Toyota. The problem with the warehouse is that it's not, I would say it's not conveyor ready, right? It's not open space, it's kind of old school where I was with a mezzanine and the bottom floor. So one of our challenges when implementing a conveying solution has always been how, because it doesn't flow like any warehouse that you go and watch a conveyor solution. So do you guys provide any type of consulting and design or configuration in ways of how do you implement this, look at the architecture and then kind of go in and design it with us? Or is it more of a plug and play solution of you guys create the design and then we'll provide aspects of it?
No, so for that, I mean, if you come to us, like I said, we will refer you to one of our integrator partners that have like a design team. I think on your end, just from experience, I mean, employee readiness is number one. You need to make sure that your team is ready for some automation or for conveyability. And then, we'll refer you to one of our clients that actually handles down market. And then from there, I mean, it's a shopping game. I mean, you find the right ones that you can partner up with, and they provide a solution. And we've seen like a lot of brownfield, and you're not the only one. I mean, we work with some big corporations out there. They're still behind when it comes to automation. But like I said, I mean, you missed the first slides, but between labor shortage and the lack that we're going to have of workers, you have to go to automation at some point. So you definitely don't want to be from the last ones, but this is the right time for it. Yeah. Where are you in Puerto Rico?
The warehouse is in Guaynabo, it's close to the capital, San Juan.
Okay, okay.
It's a wholesale. We serve over 500 customers around the island, and then we also have the biggest Puerto Rican retail conglomerate. We compete with like Advanced Auto Parts or AutoZone, right?
Okay.
So we have retail and wholesale, but conveyor belts have always been. So I'm in head of IT and also son of the owner, so eventually going to lead, and that's always been one of my projects that I want to try in. but there's always a lot of user resistance against it, not from the ground users, but mainly from administration, because the warehouse that was purchased is not really a warehouse that you would typically see this working, right? Like the floor is uneven, right? Like it's an old building. It's
Yeah.
a big building, but you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, and also I'm accompanied here with our VP, Mr. Steve Dillman. So I believe we have spirals in Puerto Rico or in the area for sure. I know Jerry did that like a few years ago.
McCarty, then you probably are there.
Yes.
McCarty is
Okay.
still in Puerto Rico, the rum. So
Okay.
I'm assuming,
Yeah, so as far as the spiral goes, all I can tell you is we're meant for brownfields because we're modular, so that's something also I mentioned earlier, and depends on how your floor is. That shouldn't be like a challenge on our end. A lot of the integrators, conveyor suppliers, they have the same flexibility, so flexibility is the name of the game now, and I would say you would have to go to the automation because that will, the ROI of it is it makes sense, but as far as our company and our product, you can get quotes from us at any time you want. But like I said, we will most likely send you through an integrator that can look at the big picture and then recommend the right solutions for you guys. Yeah.
TK?
Yes, sir.
I didn't see the previous slide of all the companies that you service. I work for Johnson & Johnson.
Okay.
Have you used any spirals at any of their facilities?
So J&J, I don't know about the packaging manufacturing side of it. From a warehousing side, I've been with the company now for 5 years. I haven't cared for them, but I don't know who you work with, but there's
Essentially, I work in a pharmaceutical distribution
Okay.
facility, so it would be more on lines of distribution facilities.
So do you guys take like a corporate, or is it like each warehouse treat their system independently? How?
That's a good question.
Okay.
We have tie-ins for product segments. So
Okay.
it would be aligned with, for instance, consumer health, pharma, whatever the product is that's going out of that building.
Yeah. So I don't know about J&J personally, but I know we've done business with Medline, which is also like McKesson. So in your arena, we've done a lot of business. P&G is a big client of us.
Yeah, that's one of the McKesson's on the distributors.
Correct. Yeah, so, and is it the gentleman that stopped earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so earlier, like I mentioned, one I want to show you is, I heard you have some challenges or concerns with other vertical conveyance solutions, but this one would be like a good one. We just did this one in your area where we replaced a couple belted conveyors with spirals. Yeah, so it's kind of like a plug and play. It's a direct switch between the two. It was a retrofit recount project, and
Yeah, because we do have belted conveyors. I forget the original manufacturer's name, but it's always a fear or a nightmare that if one of those belts snaps, there's
Yeah.
no way we're going to replace that. And in a timely fashion,
Yeah. I'm working on a couple projects. We've been doing a lot of replacements of other solutions to the spiral because now people are more comfortable with the technology, and especially knowing that we come from the packaging manufacturing side, and you know how critical is every minute or every package in that industry. We're just taking that model and then bringing it to the warehouse, and so we focus more on total cost of ownership rather than just the acquisition cost of the product.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I would love to come to Puerto Rico if.
Thanks no problem. You come. No, it's an interesting solution, Because ideally, also for me, I visualize it as if I can't fix it down on the floor, I can fix it up to the roof because it's a very high ceiling, right? So things like spirals really make sense to me to move the merchandise up closer to the ceiling, move it around the warehouse in a space that is much more easier to manage and doesn't impact the floor as much, which is a little bit congested at the moment. Much more than other solutions that I'd seen before, where it was like this big ramp that would take half of the space,
Correct.
just to be able to go up 80 feet, right? So it is a very interesting solution.
Yeah.
So something I would definitely consider once we move forward.
Yeah. Do you guys already have like a mezzanine established on the second level, or?
Yes. So the issue was that this building was purchased 7 years ago when it wasn't purchased with the vision of implementing a solution like this, right? So they built the mezzanine
Okay.
instead
Okay.
of building this and then building the mezzanine after around it if it was
Okay.
necessary. But we are building a secondary building that's going to be about 250,000 square feet next to the building. And my idea is that now we can build a conveyor system from that building to the main building because we're still doing all the dispatching. Test it there, and once you have the buyer approval and you see the benefit, right, then you can start seeing how to implement it during the other areas that might need to relocate or move things around or to
Correct.
make everything fit.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked because we've done some special projects where it was like a standalone spiral with its controls, and basically they just use it for emergency to take products from like the first, second level. Keep in mind they can be like either up or down, so it can be reversible within the same spiral. So yeah, so if that's something you already have and you can leverage it that way, but if you build a new facility, I would say just design it with the understanding, like I said earlier, now people are going from just in case, also or just in time to just in case. So you want to make sure you're geared for the next 10, 15 years from now. Yeah.
I do remember the name of the OEM for the spirals, Portec.
Yeah. So that's actually like the one that I showed. I mean. So I think this is like a Portec belt right there. Yeah, then they're big, and so I would say our spiral that goes 1-to-1 probably takes about 30% of the space of the Portec, and sometimes they're under like a rack. I would say each of these solutions, they're meant for their clients, so I cannot say anything bad about them. But what I've seen in recent years is every inch or every square foot of the warehouse matters, and also like being like maintenance free, or sorry, maintenance friendly, and also installation integration friendly comes it's a big role, especially when you have not that many techs out there that can support the system 24/7.
So on a previous slide, I saw, is that single motor driven?
Yeah, so all of them are single motor driven. So you can see like there, like that's the line, and then you have the spiral. It has one motor. So all of our spirals have one motor, and then they're supported by a VFD. Here, like it's a Portec or Alpine kind of like a solution, and then where we replace them, it just basically take all those like 4 or 5 motors that you have there, and you just put one spiral, and we can go up to 40 feet elevation change. At least what I can record over the past 5 years.
Spiral has 5 belts on it. So that's 5 motors that we got to
exactly
put down into one. No encoders, but it would be a challenge to try to make that. So, but I mean,
well, I'm a former or a computer engineer by trade, so controls engineer. So I would say, yeah, it might look complicated, but it's not that complicated. If you have the right partner, they can bypass all those in a heartbeat. And like I said, on this one here, it is actually a Portec belt that we changed or swapped with the spiral.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so I have about 6-7 minutes left. I didn't hear anything from this side, I mean, other than Steve.
I'm learning. I'm really
What do you do?
I work for a company out of Ohio that we manufacture rollers for
Okay.
conveyor systems.
Okay.
So pulleys, rollers, tapers.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, we use like the rollers on our transitions, as well as we have like a powered roller, depends on the product. All our inductions and diverse, they also use rollers. So, but other than that, it's mainly like a sled that we designed and we manufacture here in the U.S. How about you, Brian? Any questions?
No, I'm more so just learning and intrigued by this. I mean, obviously we outsource our distribution, but we also have some internal operations and always looking to see what's out there. I guess my only question is, I saw some of the videos, going up and down. Is there any differences in capacity for going up as opposed to going down?
Yes, well, the spiral itself, we have our standard, which basically is 1,800 pounds fully loaded. It can start and stop fully loaded. So outside, the biggest difference between us and Europe is we put the motor in the direction of the drive, basically where we're going. So there is no impact. With the high capacity, we can go to 3,600 pounds fully loaded. The other thing is it's 75 pounds per foot, up to 150 pounds, which should be more than enough for like most of the industry, especially with ergonomics. I mean, most of the packages that we see today, they don't go over 50 or 60 pounds. Yeah, but the direction doesn't, it plays more like on the pitch, so we can go a little bit more steeper on the decline versus the incline because that's the natural flow. And then like the size of the motor, when you go like with gravity, you can use a smaller size motor if needed. But other than that, I mean, it's the same performance whether going up or down. Ramona, any questions?
No, I'm learning too.
Yeah.
Any restrictions on, I mean, obviously, the height of the building would factor in, but, I mean, well, I'm not sure what I'm trying to ask.
Well, as far as the restrictions, typically where you have like at the building, we're gonna see like they have like sprinkler system. They also have like a whatever level. I think they have to have at least like a 7 or 8 feet clearance between the floor and the ceiling. On our end, like I said, right now we're on like a 40 feet elevation change. That's what I've seen. As far as with one motor, we're working on being able to do more than that. So we can go unlimited at some points once we have everything under like that we're designing it operational out there. Yeah, I mean they say the sky is the limit here, the ceiling is the limit.
Yeah. So I noticed you had the TV on there that you could put on the spiral.
Yes.
Is that probably the largest?
Or
what's the largest?
Well, it depends. Well, there are 4 factors. There is like the length, the width, as well as the height and then the weight. So I've had the product that is 60 inches long, but it was like a 12-inch wide. So it should be no problem. So the length to width ratio is very important because we want to make sure at least you have 2 points within the spiral. But as far as like pushing it, maybe if we had something that is also a 40-inch tall, I'm not sure, like maybe, I don't know, washer or dryer, I think we should be able to do that. I mean, as long as it's under 150 pounds. Yeah, we have some big business with like the Home Depots of the world and all that, and they convey some large, I mean, lawnmower there and all that. And that's the biggest advantage, like I said, because of our rolling friction versus sliding, allows us to handle more weight per square foot.
Just in terms of spare parts.
Everything from the U.S. So yeah, like I said, we're headquartered in Yorktown, Virginia. Let me see if I have that one here. No, sorry. So yeah, so this is our plant. I'm based out of Newport News, Virginia, which is basically a sister city of Yorktown. Like 12-minute drive, and it's all one-stop shop. So we have our engineering, builders. We manufacture all our parts in Virginia, and I would say the furthest part that we get is the motor from South Carolina. But other than that, everything is done within the. So like I said, when we had this whole supply chain challenge, it was very minimum on our end, just because we were efficient. I guess the owners knew this one was coming or something. But yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest challenge that I have now is I have 25% of my warehouse is full of spare that was supposed to ship like 2 months ago, and now that's limiting us, or that's creating another head on our end that we're trying to push. Like the spirals out without charging our clients any storage fees.
Does it require the facility or the space that a vertical conveyor goes on to have like an increased seismic rating or anything different than like a standard?
Yes, so that's a good question. Yeah, the other beautiful thing about our spiral is because of the modularity, it gives like an advantage when it comes to seismic environments. So we have a lot of spirals in California, Memphis area. I mean, Nike there, we have a lot of spirals there. And we have like a seismic base frame. So we need to know whether it's a seismic area or not. And then from there, like the modularity is, that's the beauty of it. But that's a good question. I don't know, Steve, you have any? We have a couple more minutes. You want to add anything or?
I was thinking about the question from the fellow from J&J. Brings me back to a blog we did about 2 years ago, where one of the J&J manufacturing facilities called us. The general manager said, "I'm new to this plant. We don't know anything about this spiral, though we do know it's 16 years old, and it's been running 3 shifts a day since we bought it. So 7 days a week." So he wanted us to send one of our techs up to train their maintenance people in case it ever stopped running.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We went up and trained, but that was a J&J.
Okay.
Stainless steel.
So we have spirals there. That's good to know. Yeah, I had the same situation last week when I was in Orlando. I stopped by an Amazon SSD facility there, and then he said, we've been having these for 2+ years, and nobody knows what's going on. It runs 24/7, so I need somebody to come in and just look at it, see if it's healthy. So it's good to hear this that's been running for 2+ years or 16 years with no problem. But at the same time, we want to make sure that our clients reach out to us, and so we can support them at least with training, especially if we're in the area. So that's the other thing that we provide, courtesy. If we're in the area, we'll make as many stops as possible, courtesy, just to check on the health of the spirals and make sure that it's properly maintained.
Do you provide annual maintenance plans?
No, we have like a sheet that tells you like your preventative maintenance, but we would rely on you, the integrator, to tell us, okay, or the end user, hey, I want you to come in and audit my equipment, tell me where we are, and we will give you a quote for that. But if we're in the area and we get a call, we'll stop by, no problem. All right, so I'm not sure what time-wise, but yeah, 1 minute past it. Appreciate you guys for coming in. Let us know if we can help you, and yeah, we're here upstairs, so we have like a little booth, so make sure you stop by as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.